Hey everyone, welcome back to a High Joy podcast. My name is Angie Brady, and I'm so grateful to be here. And again, thank you everybody for commenting in my post. It was so interactive this time, and I loved it, so thank you. The question that I posted on Monday was, can we create joy, and if so, how? So with the many responses that I received, obviously the overall feel was yes, you can, but all of these different responses. And one of them that I really appreciated was from my sister. She said, yes, we are co-creators with our Heavenly Father and Heavenly Mother. And I just love that, because as we learn to create with Him, again, He is the all-knowing. He is the creator of the earth and all things. And when we use the Master Creator to help us, we can do amazing things. And again, his joy is our joy, right? When we feel joy, He is so joyful. And as I was pondering over that, I was doing the dishes on Sunday night, and I had this thought just simply run through my mind, and it said, don't take the joy away from my kids and help them create. And it was kind of like a stab in the heart, because sometimes I get really tired, or I get lazy, and I think, just go watch a show. I don't want to do anything, right? I just want to lay down, or there's my like the natural man in me, or the things that get me to get going. It takes a little bit, and I was feeling like in this rut, and I was like, oh, after I felt that, I said, oh my heavens, I am so grateful for that inspiration that I received, because it helped me realize that our kids are learning just like us. And when they create, they feel joy. And if our role is to help to feel joy, how can I help them feel joy as a mother? And then I also thought about it. You know, my brother-in-law and I were talking on Monday, and it's just, he was just saying, like, we're just big kids, right? Trying to create in this world, and it's so fun to create, and how much joy that gives us. And so this week especially, I was very intentional about not like over. I guess sometimes when I think about, I want to do all of these different things with the kids because I want to create, but I didn't do it to, like, I didn't want to overwhelm myself. But I just took it one day at a time, and tried to incorporate a new activity or something that we could do together to create something so they could feel that. And I had one of the most, I don't know, it was a testimony to me that the simplicity of like a little bit of intentionality gives our kids so many opportunities to create. So we've had these popsicle sticks in our cupboard for a few weeks, and we did it a couple weeks ago, where you glue the popsicle sticks together, and they create something, right? And so my daughter Eliza, she is the most crafty of all of my kids. Like, she's very patient, and she'll actually sit with a project and do it, and I love that. And so I said, okay, Eliza, so the intentionality was, okay, I'm going to help you create, but I also I'm giving you the necessary pieces to create, but I want you to use your imagination and create something. So I said, okay, Eliza, I want you to create something for me, anything you want. I'm gonna sit on the couch, and I'm gonna hide so I don't see anything, but I'm looking forward to seeing what you create. And she just kind of like got this little smile on her face. She's like, okay. And so she starts gluing all these things together, and she comes over, and she's like, I made a boat. And like, it's just like this conglomeration of all of these things. And I just looked at her and I said, wow, that is an amazing boat. Like, that is so cool. I love the way that you created this, and it truly looks like a boat. And she gave me this smile that radiated joy. And she was like, okay. And I was like, okay, what other things do you think you could add to this to this boat. Anything else you want to add to create to it? And I was like, gave her some ideas, like, oh, you could maybe do a lighthouse, or you could, I don't know, build another boat, or you could build a shark or something. And she was like, oh, I'm gonna do a lighthouse. And so she goes back over there and makes this lighthouse. And it was amazing. I mean, when she came back over to show me, it was amazing. I don't know how to best explain it. It was a feeling that as a mom, you want your kids to feel. You want them to feel like they've done something and they're coming to show their mom or their dad. And it makes me think a lot about me, about my Heavenly Father and my Heavenly Mother, is when I'm out there trying to do something like create a podcast or write my book or what new insights I learned. They're so excited to see what I've come up with, right? And especially with this podcast, I feel like I've done, I've tried to get some organization, and they're helping me navigate all these different pieces. And it's really, I'm in my creative space right here. My brother-in-law, again, we talked about this, is how when we are in a space where we are using our Heavenly Father, and we, like, just right before this podcast, I say a prayer and I said, Heavenly Father, I want to be a mouthpiece, and I want to create a space, and I want to create, and this is what He's helping me do. And there's so many different things that I can improve, and every single time I listen to it and I think, oh, I could do this better, I could do that better. And it's exciting. It fills me with joy because there's something always to look forward to. And then I get to learn more and more and more. And so as I thought about that experience, it made me think about a lot of the other things that I was doing this week. So Monday, I will say this was probably one of the hardest weeks I've had in a while. And not necessarily with the creating aspect, just emotionally, I was worn down, and I was short-tempered. And Monday night, Monday day, I was just really short with the kids, and I was frustrated with myself because I don't like when I get really short with the kids, or I yell, or I send them to timeout, and I just have my emotions take over and I really, really do not like that. And so then I am short with the kids, and then I just want to go in my room and shut the door, and they can just watch shows because I just don't want to deal with anything. And that's not creating. That's just pushing everybody to the side and not involving in them. And again, I know that there's time and space for that. I believe that when we are feeling overwhelmed or whatever, that's the only thing we can do, and that's okay. And maybe it's even better, we just go away, because if we're so angry, and that's how I kind of felt, I kind of like secluded myself. And the next day I just prayed. I said, Heavenly Father, I want to be better. I want to create with my kids. I want to do different things. And so that next day, they got home from school, and I just switched my attitude a little bit. I just said, okay, I'm going to, whatever ideas that they have, obviously with boundaries, I want to do. I really want to be more intentional about that. And so my son came home, and he's like, oh, my friend had this Pop-It thing of candy, and I really, really want to go get one at the store. So he was like looking up where to find it, and I was like, oh, it's at the gas station. So I was like, yeah, let's go do that. They have these little green light cards, and they've earned money, and so I thought, yeah, let's go do it. And it was crazy the amount of excitement that they had, because I was to just say, yeah, let's go for it, let's do it. And so we went to the gas station. And they were so well behaved in the gas station. I don't know. And it was like, because it was their idea, and they had some creation in it, instead of just the demanding, like this and this and this. And again, I'm not saying that shouldn't be there either. Like, there needs to be definitely a mix of all of that. But we did that, and then we went and visited Ian at work, and then I was like, hey, well, let's go to the library, and went to the library, and we let them explore, and they were like, oh, I want to do the elevator. And so I was like, okay, let's go do the elevator, and let's go to the bottom floor. And then I wanted to say, like, we were respectful, but we wrote it a few times because that's one of their joys. They're learning, and those things are exciting. An elevator, right? Getting in the car and walking to the gas station is a new experience. I don't take them to the gas station. I wanted to give them experiences, and I feel like Heavenly Father blessed me with the energy that day to go do those various activities. And then with just one more little thing that I want to share, and is I listened to the podcast, the Magnify podcast, and it was from Valentine Clarke. She is hilarious, first off. I think she's a comedian, and what else does she do? I don't know, she has something else, but she's funny and she's hilarious. I know that her husband had ALS, and so he got really sick. But what I wanted to get to this is that she had a really, like, as joyful as she was, she went through a very, very hard thing. And she had, as I was listening to this, there were so many nuggets that she had said. She said, joy is a creative art, not a formula. And so not every single, it's not A plus B equals C. It's not just that every time you're not going to feel joy every single time you do this exact thing. But joy is a creative act. We get to expand. We get to, I don't know, elaborate on whatever we're doing. And one of my most favorite things is taking my son Wells out. Like, if I will say it's hard to take 5 kids, but if I could just take Wells out on like a little adventure, like on a hike or whatever, something switches in his brain, and it like turns into like climber dude, and finds every rock that he can, and finds all the sticks, and has so many creative ideas. And sometimes I think, oh, I love doing that with him, because he really is experiencing joy. And as in the same podcast, Valentine Clarke had also said that joy is our birthright, and we're meant to feel joy. And again, joy, I don't believe is just getting lollipops and skipping through the woods, but it truly is a state of being. And it was crazy as I do the difference between those 2 days that I told you about. So Monday I was mean mom, right? I was yelling more. I was frustrated. I secluded myself. And then the next day was, oh, I was happier, and we were doing things, and we were creating things, and there was more energy. But I also felt more energized because I was doing these different things with the kids. It doesn't mean I wasn't looking forward to going to bed, but I was so grateful that I was able to do that. And in my heart, in my mind, that was peaceful. It wasn't anything extraordinary. It was going to the gas station, it was going to the library, just regular things, but I felt a peaceful joy. And that's what as mothers, we want our kids to grow up and to raise them in an amazing home. And I was listening to another talk from actually in October of 2000, so quite some time ago, 25 years ago, and the talk was called "The Joy of Motherhood," or sorry, of the Joy of Womanhood, and it was by Margaret Nadald. And she said something that really struck me. She said, mothers teach the joyful art of creating a home. And I think when I read that, and then I also had that kitchen sink experience where I said, don't take the joy from the kids, help them create. Those two things kind of went all together and helped me think that as a mom, every day is creating, because we're doing something new every single day. Our kids are so, again, some days they're way wild, and some days they're a lot more calm, and we kind of just roll with the punches. But that's part of creation. But when our kids walk home or get home from school, they know we as mothers and fathers have created an environment. And that's why I believe that as when we are safe in our homes, when we feel that there's a family unit, that is where that joy can come. We feel safe. And as women, that's what we're doing every single day, is we're creating that for our kids. And I don't know, I loved that, because we don't need to do anything extraordinary. We don't need to do a podcast. We don't need to do whatever. But I'm just, as you can hear my son crying in the background, he gets to essentially listen to my podcast every time I'm in here. He's taking a nap. And I hope that as a mom that I can be a light to all of my kids in that. And so as I teach my daughters and my sons, this is how an environment can be. And there are so many times that I need to do better. But that's the joy of creating. As soon as we've realized that maybe we don't like this way, that we can do a different way. And that's the joy of creating. So again, I love doing this, and I'm so grateful for the opportunity that I get to be in this creative space, and that and get to do all these amazing things. So anyways, I love you guys, and I'll talk to you soon.